Okay, so when we come to the door, I have this door open, but we would prefer to have it shut. We're doing this for lighting reasons. But basically, what we want to do is we want to, so you can't let him keep on whining. He's about to do it again. So again, before he starts is much more effective. So when I get to the door, my authority goes whichever direction my hips and shoulders go. So a lot of people, they go to the door and they go to answer it like this. Now my authority is pointing here. So when I go to the door, this is where the line is, let's say. So once I go to the door, we're going to pretend that this door is closed, I'm going to turn and face the dog if he's already over there. But if he's over here, then I'm just going to come over here, wedge myself in between him, and then walk towards him and don't let him past you, and keep marching at him until he gets across the line. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk backwards. Now, I'm not going to do what I just did. When I walk backwards, I take a left-right step only. So left, right, stop. Wait for half a second and read the dog. The dog stays in place or sits down, take another step, read the dog. If I'm here and I take a step and the dog starts coming forward, I rush forward very suddenly and don't slow down before you get to the dog. The dog needs to think, if I'm still here, he's going to run me over. As soon as he gets over the line, we stop. So if you take a step towards him and he crosses the line, then we stop right there. So at first it's going to be you're going to feel like you're kind of doing the cha-cha-cha, but again, you put a pause in between each step. Eventually, when he stays in place, then let's say this door is closed, I'm going to break down opening the door into individual steps. So the first one is going to be the doorknob. So I'm going to do, well actually the first one I do is typically the deadbolt. So I flip it open and shut a couple times. That usually causes the dog to come forward. So I rush, I abort, stop what I'm doing, and rush forward. As soon as the dog gets off, then I take a step back, repeat the process, and here, jiggle the deadbolt again. Keep doing that until the dog stays in place. He can go anywhere he wants, and I don't care if he barks, he just can't cross the threshold. Second step is then I jiggle the door handle. And again, if he comes forward, I rush and I make the hissing sound. Always start with your hissing sound first, and then rush towards him until he gets across the line. Once I actually get to the where I can jiggle both those and he doesn't do it, the next step is I open the door an inch, just a crack. That usually triggers a response, and again, you do this, you abort and come forward. So you're going to break it down in individual steps. Now when I actually open the door, this might darken it up, but what I'm going to do is kind of go like, it's like here, I'm going to open it, and I'm going to step in front of it, and so if the door is behind me. Now again, I'm not going to allow the dog to pass me. Then I would take a step into the recess. I'm going to practice this step. Then when I'm ready, then I open this one, and then I step forward and let my guest come in behind me. Now the dog is not allowed to interact with the guest until the guest crosses this line, but even then, only with good behavior. You can't jump up on people. Well, by breaking it into individual steps, we put the dog in a position to succeed and know what behavior we are expecting from them in order to continue. And because we've incorporated distance, the dog is going to be a lot more subdued, and it's going to be easier to process it. Like I said, if the dog is here, we're trying to move him away while we're opening the door, he's just going to keep on coming back and over again. Now eventually, it's not realistic to open the door like this and then walk away from the door with your back to the end. That's why we do it with each other to begin with. After a while, you can kind of start turning. Now, my first transition, when I start doing the turn, I keep my hips open. And I'm watching the dog. So my authority's here, it's at the dog. Now here, it's kind of between the two, but I'm watching. If he turns, I immediately turn square up at him and start going towards him. Now he's going to probe and test to see where the boundaries are. Don't get upset. Don't say anything. Just march right at him and use the hissing sound. Okay, so this is the process of what we're going to do to open the door. Now what we're going to do in the next video is one of the guardians is going to go out and play the part of a guest. I'm going to demonstrate all of this at once. Then we'll have another video with the guardians answering the door in the same fashion.